This is Patriots linebacker, Super Bowl 49 champ, Darius Fleming, and you're watching Von Allen Sports. Real and honest NFL analysis. Subscribe now. Join the empire. Von Allen Sports, let's go!
Von Allen Sports. Von Allen Sports.
Whoa. How you guys doing? It's been a while, right? It's been a long time since we've spoken, right? So, all right. Yeah, getting started just a bit past the hour. Just sorry about that, guys. Just had a few last minute changes on how the dice and the camera was going to go, and a little bit of unexpected stuff like that. So, since the stream just started, let's just give it about a minute and a half, and I'll be right back. Okay, so just don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. 90 seconds, something like that. Okay. All right. Ramses uses my chair, and I really honestly think that he adjusted it. So. Look at that. NightlySinister says, join the Legion, and I bought a Lenovo Legion 5 Pro for Black Friday. There you go, man. So are you watching this on your Lenovo right now? On your Legion Pro? Someone probably says, hey, what are all those intros that Aaron's got? Well, they're just, hey, I spent so much time working on the intros, I was like, I'm just throw them all in there. It like at least gets the show going, right? I love them. Although no one's ever asked me that, I actually wondered that myself. So maybe I can do the Shao Kahn. Maybe the Shao Kahn, or I don't know. There's different versions, but fight. Need a little deeper voice for that. So. All right, we got everybody here. Yeah, look at all of these member icons next to the name. This is really, really cool. So basically, here's what's going on. Wait just a second. Yeah. No trouble again. We were just trying to make sure everything works so you can see the dice and see that, and the camera angles and all that, working on that. So, Yeah. So basically, in the brackets, the way it was based on the number of submissions we had. So it was like an odd number of submissions. So we had to fill in a few brackets. Milena, she had bought those that free membership gift thing, and then YouTube returned it for some reason and gave us our money back. Don't know why, but whatever. So we selected a few people, just a few people for one entry from Facebook, people who are longtime contributors, and then some of you guys. Even if you were level 1, which, level 1 did not promise a bye week, but some of you were randomly picked to get a bye. So if you're wondering why you got a bye or an extra entry, but if you got an extra entry, you probably have to play twice in the first week. So if you're wondering why you see your name twice, or if you see your name in a bye, but yet you were you were at the initial one, that's what happened. So, okay. All right. Things are about to get dicey. Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, this that'd be cool. I saw this on the internet, and I was like, oh, Super Bowl 53. That's a nice color and everything. It just looks good. And I actually have a hat. I have a gray hat it's got the Rams logo and the Patriots logo. I'm pretty sure you guys have seen it before, but yeah, it's on there, and it kind of goes together there. But I saw some of the guys wearing this shirt during the Super Bowl week, during the media, and I was like, that is an awesome shirt, Now, of course, theirs had the team logos on the side, but this is just like, I think this might have been for the media, maybe. But or somebody. So I thought that was cool. Did you guys enjoy last night? I thought that show was really good. I thought it went well. I think the more I thought about it today, I was thinking, that dynamic, that debate dynamic, that was really fun. And I thought it was actually, because I got to watch it back a little bit. I didn't watch all of it because I was working on the tournament. But the little that I saw, I tried to view it from a viewer standpoint and not be, because it's weird to watch yourself. It's weird to, watch yourself in like a movie or on stage, at a concert. It's weird to see yourself doing this, for example. So you have to kind of like take yourself out of it and then watch from a neutral standpoint. And I was able to do that. And when I was watching, just kind of, this is really cool. I really enjoyed it and watching it. I think this is something that maybe, if you guys agree, I think it's something that maybe we should pursue in the future and try to get other people on here. Now there's people, there's so many people to invite. There's a lot of Tom Brady haters, first of all. How many would be willing to do it? Or come on, I guess the people you'd have to pick are people with channels. I think that's where the success would be. Because if you get into like a Twitter argument with somebody and they're just talking junk, a lot of them, they're probably not going to come on camera or anything like that. And they probably don't have a good setup anyway. So it might not be very good quality as far as the filming of it. But, they got these debate shows. People watch First Take and Undisputed and all those. And they're fake debate shows. Now, sometimes, they get in arguments if they really do have a difference of opinion or whatever. But for the most part, it's pretty scripted, So. Oh yeah, I know that they released Julian Edelman's Football Life last night, and I haven't got a chance to see that. In fact, I'm going to watch that tonight probably. So, okay, so are you guys ready? Are you ready for this? All right, so let's get this going now. Okay. Now, so here's how this is going to work, okay? Just one moment. Okay. Okay. Yeah. One moment, guys. Okay. So apologies, guys. Yeah, random. Okay, random commercial break. Well, see, we're advertising Coke. See, Coke, they need to sponsor me. Yeah, Milena, she made a mistake. Well, not a mistake, but it was the only thing left. 1 liter Cokes, dude. Takes me all day just to drink this damn thing. Alrighty, so let's do this. So as you can see on the left, now I hope I can enlarge it if you guys are watching on your cell phone and can't see very well. So I can take this and I can make it a bit bigger there, on the left side, and then on the right side with the tournament brackets. I think that's pretty clear. It looks like it, but I can go a little higher. Let's see how that works. So, all right. So instead of just going through every single, all the lists at the same time, we're just going to go by each one, and then when your name comes along, you'll see yourself and you'll know what your matchup is, okay? And that's how we're going to do it. So NightlySinister says bigger is always better. Okay, that sounds good to me. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're using a Scrabble box. Thank you, Roman, for that nice gift, because it's more than just Scrabble, see? So what we have is... you ever played D&D when you guys were kids? Boom. Okay. So we have a 12-sided die. Okay. This is to determine your quarterback. All right. So what we'll do is once you get a number here, when your name is called, we'll just go down the list, ranked 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way down to 12. That will be your quarterback for this, just for tomorrow or Monday, depending on who your quarterback is. Okay. Now, you guys will notice that there's some quarterbacks missing. This does not mean that these guys were literally 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Like Josh Allen's missing. He would have been number 2, for example. But I just removed those for simplicity because we can't just assign the next number or whatever like that. So this is just who was left. So out of all the quarterbacks that were left that are playing on Sunday and Monday, these are the best 12 according to our formula for right now. All right. If a lot of you guys are Tom Brady fans, if you're wanting Brady against the Browns, you need a 7. Okay. Which is funny because I know in a lot of games and especially craps, 7 is good. So it's funny how that worked. All right. So after we have the matchup quarterbacks, after we have the 2 quarterbacks, your matchup, I will then roll a four-sided die, okay? And a four-sided die, let's see here if you can see that. Yeah. Now, you're probably not going to be able to see the number of this one very well. You can if you really try, or if you go back later and look. And there's not really not I can do about it because it's the way it's designed. But this is just to determine what statistic your game will be. So as you can see down here, Addy Visorno versus Tyree Vaughn. Okay? I roll a quarterback for Addy, then I roll a quarterback for Tyree, and then I'll roll the four-sided die, and it will go in the box right here, and we'll put a 1, 2, 3, or 4. And as you can see at the top, in the scrolling ticker at the very top of the screen, has 1, 2, 3, or 4. That will tell you what you are using to determine your stats for your game, okay? If you guys get a tie, the tiebreaker will be which quarterback won the game. If both of your quarterbacks won their game, then it will go to the next highest number from the original roll. So let's say you're a 3, and then both you tied, and then both your quarterbacks won. The tiebreaker would then be 4, number 4 completions, and so on. So it's very basic, very simple, no complications there. Okay, so let's do this. If you guys in the middle of this have any questions or want to talk to me, send a super chat, because that dings in my ear usually. Sometimes I miss it, or you can send a members chat, because everyone here is members, so you get 1 free members chat every time. So make sure to use that, guys. And I mean, you earned it. You're paying a monthly fee, so use that, and or put @ symbol, and maybe I'll catch it in the side there. Okay, so starting next week, you get to pick your quarterbacks if you're here. If you're not in the chat to tell me who your quarterback, who you want as quarterback, I'm going to roll the dice for you just like I'm doing tonight, okay? All right, so let's get started. We have Addy Visorno versus Tyree Vaughn, and James Johnson. If you can see at the top there, that's James Johnson. If you see what looks like a Y, that's actually not a Y. That's a Greek letter for gamma, which is C, the letter C, but it's gamma. And so we've got alpha, beta, gamma, delta, and epsilon. If there's only 2 guys who have 5 entries. That's so we know which ones are which names are which. So we've got James Johnson's gamma at the bye at the top. So that entry is already into next week for week 13. Okay, Addy and Tyree Vaughn, both, these are their alpha ones. They've got 2, actually. If you don't have a Greek letter next to your name, that means you've only had 1 entry, and that's it. So here we go. Addy Visorno, alpha, number 5. Okay, so Addy's quarterback is Joe Burrow. Ooh, well, that's perfect, right? Cleveland. So, all right, Tyree's quarterback. Number 10. Allen-tannehill. Critical hit. Yeah, I know. Isn't this this is kind of like Dungeons and Dragons a bit, isn't it? So what you guys are going to be looking for is number 3. So that's going to be turnovers. So make sure, you're going to make sure that your guy doesn't turn the ball over tomorrow. So Addy, you're going to win something. So what's interesting about this is I'm pretty sure the Bengals are playing the Titans. So look at that. That works out. Okay. So just make sure you remember that. If you've got more than 1 entry, you might want to write that down and memorize it there. So, okay, that takes us to there's some buys here. So Nightwalker's gamma, Mr. Automotive's beta is a buy. Andy Butts' beta, which means that he's got an alpha somewhere, gets a buy, and that puts us at John Thomas Chavez alpha versus Michael Brown's alpha. All right, let's go. John Thomas Chavez is first, And by the way, these numbers were, or how you land in this list is randomized. So if you go first and you happen to roll the same quarterback on the second one, unfortunately, I have to roll again, because you can't have the same quarterback. That wouldn't make any sense. So I apologize, but this was randomized. This all was. So there's nothing I can do about that. So number 12 for John Thomas Chavez, he's going with Jimmy Garoppolo. Now, don't panic. You never know what the stat will be, So that's what's fun about this. Okay. John Thomas Chavez goes Garoppolo and Michael Brown. Michael Brown, if you're watching Michael Brown. Number 10, Tannehill. Look at that. All right. So. Okay. Now, what you're going to look for is a number 1. So, I believe number 1 is yards, correct? So, when it comes to yards, this is passing yards and rushing. So, it doesn't matter. All combined yards. Don't care how they get them, just as they get them. Even receiving yards. So, if somebody does some kind of badass, flea flicker or something like that, or double pass, and it goes to the quarterback, those receiving yards will count. So this is yards, yards, yards. Touchdown, same thing. Okay? I know I didn't write it in the script for receiving yards, but it does count. It's just, what am I going to do? Like, write a million things? Oh, what if they put him on defense and he gets a safety? I mean, no. So I'm not going to write everything, but yards and touchdowns, they matter. So, okay. Looks like we have a super sticker. Nefertiti sends a super sticker. Thank you. Jalen got my attention with the @Von Allen Sports. Make sure to write that if you're talking directly to me, or you can send a super chat. Jalen asks, what if your quarterbacks play each other? The game ends in a tie and the quarterback. You can't have two quarterbacks that play each other. So if a guy already got one quarterback, the second guy, and he rolls the same quarterback, I have to roll again. And I have to keep rolling until we have a different quarterback. That's just how we're going to have to do it there. So, all right. So, John Thomas Chavez, you better hope that Jimmy throws for some yards tomorrow or runs or does something. So, yeah. That takes us to Redcoats Epsilon. That is a bye. Ozymandias, 20. Ozymandias the cat, actually. His alpha, which means that he has got a beta somewhere. NightlySinister's alpha. Here we go. NightlySinister. So, Ozymandias is up first. 3. Damn. Tua. Okay, that's pretty good. I'm just going to put Tua. I'm not going to write his whole damn last name. All right. NightlySinister. Who is your quarterback? Let's go. Number 12. Ouch. That was a critical hit against you. Garoppolo again? Ugh. All right. Well, Garoppolo doesn't do much of anything, so what you're probably going to want is turnovers, I bet. So, number 3, turnovers. Look at that. That's what. So look, I haven't moved it, and then I'm gonna number 3. So. See, that's 2 people with Garoppolo and turnovers. Wow. Somebody's either going to be really happy tomorrow or really screwed. I can't figure out. We'll find out which one it is. So that gives a bye to Anguel Nikolov-hurts. So Angel, you won this week. So you're good. You're in the next one. That's your only entry, I believe. But so like I said before, some of you, not all of you, but some of you, if you didn't get a bye, you might have gotten an extra entry. Not everybody. I just did a randomizer to see. But Angel Nikolov-hurts, you got to buy there. All right, Donnie's alpha entry. Let's do this. Take a pick, 1313. That is Donnie Harmon. And in memory of his brother. Number 4. That's a good roll. Lamar Jackson. You're going to want rushing yards. You're going to want yards in general, I think, on this one. Actually, no. He actually can. He can get you a bunch of yards. He can get you touchdowns too. So, Here we go. The Gourd King Alpha. That's right, Gourd King. I'm calling you an alpha male. Joe Burrow. No one has got the Tom Brady yet. Nice. All right, let's see. And you will be looking for number 2, which is touchdowns. And touchdowns any way you can get it. All right. So it's rigged. Bring back that guy from yesterday. NightlySinister says. I want to make sure. Don't forget to tell me to save this stuff. So I have to go back and fill that in. That'd be really annoying. All right. Next, we have a buy, Bitcoin Motorist Beta. So that means he's got an alpha somewhere that's going to have to play this week. But Bitcoin, you were awarded a second one. I probably should have done that anyway, considering what good of a job you did last night. But there you go. So you got the buy in that one. Lord Varsh versus James. I don't know who James is. This is not James Johnson. I'm not really sure who James is. But James, if you're out there, this is your first roll, buddy. It's going to be. Excuse me. Lord Varsh. We're going to start with Lord Varsh first. So here we go. Come on. Big money. Big money. 3. Tua. All right. I don't know why I started doing a game show voice, but it does feel like that, right? It's rigged. It's rigged. It's rigged. Number 1. Boom. James, whoever you are. Patrick Mahomes. Okay, look at that. That is Mahomes versus Tua. That's 1 and 3 going against each other. That is awesome. Addy Visorno sends a. Where I'm going to fit this here. Oh, actually, I got a perfect spot. Addy Visorno sends a $2 super chat and says, "Let's go, Joey B." That's right. I think he'll do something for you. All right. For these two, the match will be number 1. So you were looking for yards tomorrow, guys. Yards. If you're watching or if you watch this in playback. If you are James and you're listening or you see this, tell me what your last name is or at least some kind of differentiation. Because we have other James. So, Elf of Courage, Alpha, gets a bye. Congratulations, Elf of Courage. Dyaburst, Alpha. Dyaburst Alpha's quarterback will be number 2, Jalen Hurts. Biden, Alpha. 12, ouch. Oh, actually, all these quarterbacks are capable of getting you something. There's no real bad quarterbacks. That's why I did the 12-sided die, not the 20-sided. So, but like I said, next week, if you're first, you get to pick your own quarterback. And you can pick anybody you want, which is going to be interesting because that's going to be based on skill, more skill stuff. Because you may pick a quarterback not because they're the top quarterback on the list, but maybe because of their matchup. So that's going to make that interesting. So next week is going to be really way much better than this. So number 2 is you're going to be your score. So you're going to go with touchdowns. Oh, not -2. Okay. Yeah, Gourd King, Garoppolo, it's just he's just going to have to just not turn it over. He's not going to rack up a bunch of yards, but just don't make mistakes. Just don't do anything stupid, and then those guys should be fine. 2 against Houston, exactly. That's a good one. But it was Tua. Let's see, it was Tua versus Mahomes. So that either way, that's going to be good. That's going to be an interesting one. Okay. Jalen, you get a bye. Actually, there you go, buddy. You get a bye. So, you're 1. Congratulations. You don't need a quarterback tonight. Okay. Anguel Nikolov. Number 2. Why did my voice crack just now? What the hell? Jalen Hurts. Nice. Zeeshan Hasan, a good friend of mine. Oh, another Garoppolo. Why am I rolling so many damn 12s? What is this? Okay. And number 4, completions. I believe it's completions. So we haven't got that one. It's possible that Jimmy could have more completions than Hurts if he decides to run around a lot or whatever. We'll see. But that's going to be a tough one, Z. That's going to be a tough one. Damn. The next buy is Tyree Vaughn's Delta. So that takes us to Stephen Allen, my brother. One of my brothers. Actually, all of my siblings are in this tournament, and my dad is in this tournament. So, they better have a membership, right? They damn well. I'm going to get pissed. So, yeah, Stephen, let's do this, buddy. I don't know if you're watching tonight. You're probably on the road, but here we go. Number 10, Ryan Tannehill. Not a bad roll. Tannehill can have big games, and then he can have, it just depends. It's very, very, it depends on the stat, really. Julius Beyer, beta. And no, I'm not calling you a beta, I promise. Good roll. Number 4, Lamar Jackson. So that should be a good matchup right there. Steven versus Julius. Let's see what their stats. 2. So you're going to be looking at touchdowns. The next buy is one is for Cool Hand Jared. The other one is Israel. Israel, you get a buy. That's your alpha entry right there. So you're into next week. Congratulations. Mr. Automotive, his alpha is in a bye week there. That takes us to Russell Curry first up. Russell Curry versus Anthony Preston. Let's do this. Russell Curry gets number 1. He gets Patrick Mahomes. Good roll. And by the way, if you're wondering why Milena is not doing this with me tonight, she is not feeling well. So going to let her come on next week. And what we're going to do is we're going to try, I'm not making any promises, we're going to try to do the filming so you can see, again, I got some ideas. I just don't want to commit to it because the ideas are, sometimes I have ideas and they're too grand, they're too big, and they don't work out. But I'm going to try to do something. But anyway, she'll be with us next week. So Russell Curry gets Mahomes. Anthony Preston, let's go. 11. Again, like these high numbers, I keep rolling 10, 11, 12. Can we get a different group of quarterbacks here, please? Derek Carr, that could go either way. Let's see what your stat is. Number 2. So you're going to be looking at touchdowns. So you're going to need Derek Carr to score more touchdowns than Patrick Mahomes, Anthony Preston. You're going to have a tough one on that one, buddy. The next is Luke R's beta gets a bye. And that takes us to Redcoat. Redcoat, where are you? I know you're in England. By the way, hey, America versus England in the World Cup, 0-0. And I don't know about you, but the last time I checked in soccer, a tie is a win, right? Or not really, I don't think. I don't actually know how they do it. But for me, because we always suck and a 0-0, the highlights for that game was a guy almost scoring, okay? And this is part of the reason why I can't watch soccer very much. So, all right. You guys write to me a little bit during this? Let's see. Jalen, go with the worst quarterbacks. So, Mr. A, the dice is clearly rigged with magnets and military tech. How did you guys know? I used the military base down the street. So, No one has got Brady yet. This is weird. So, well, I can't make Brady quarterback 12 if he's not as bad as Garoppolo. He'd have to be. What happens if someone's quarterback gets hurt early in the game? You know, I haven't really given that much thought, but I honestly, I guess it would be like fantasy football where you get screwed. So we could do that, or we could say that you default to the next lowest or the next highest number, not the best quarterback. But so let's say you've got Aaron Rodgers and he gets hurt in the first quarter and he's out. Then your quarterback would default to 10, which would be Ryan Tannehill. If your opponent's already got Tannehill, then it would go to the next guy, Derek Carr, number 11. All right. We could do that if you guys want to do that. But it would have to happen early in the game. It would have to happen like in, let's say, the first quarter. So let's make it that first quarter. If a guy gets injured for the rest of the game, if he comes back, it don't count. If he's injured in the first quarter and he's out for the whole game, then it will default to the next quarterback for you. And if it's the same quarterback, the default is the same quarterback as your opponent. It goes to the one after that. So, okay, so we'll do that because injuries isn't really fair. But if he gets benched, I can't help you because that would go to performance. That would go if you're getting benched because of performance. That's your problem, or that's the quarterback's problem, right? So, I mean, we could do that if y'all want. Y'all would have to. I kind of get y'all to vote. So, what if all 12 of these quarterbacks got hurt in the first quarter? Well, if we did that rule, then I would have to go to the next 12 quarterbacks on the list. And then if that happened, I don't know. We'd have to maybe check the World Cup and start listing players in the World Cup. How about that? So you would have to no, they're not Gourd King exactly. That's what I'm saying. If they got benched for performance, that's their problem. Like that means that they've done some awful crap, and that's part of performance, right? So, and even if they did get benched, it probably wouldn't be until the end of the second half, and like if they were getting blown out, and they probably already put up a bunch of stats, probably a bunch of bad stats, but they probably put up some. But yeah, that's up to you guys if you want to go with that. It's so yeah, I don't want to use the team backup because you just it's about this whole thing also centralizes on the quarterback formula, and I want to keep it within the quarterback formula. So the backup would not be on here; he wouldn't be part of it. So okay. So you guys, why don't we'll do a vote here and tell me if you want to do that rule. First quarter, he gets hurt and he's out the rest of the game, then it defaults to the next quarterback, or we just let it happen. If he gets hurt, that's just your bad luck, okay? Give me a vote here in the next few minutes and then I'll check it, okay? Just say yes or no. Yes or no. Yes or no. Yes would be to go with that rule, quarterback rule that Addy was talking about, or no, you just let it ride. Okay? Redco Alpha. Number 8. Oh, so close. We almost got a Tom Brady. But that's good. Justin Herbert. I think Justin Herbert's very deceptive at number 8. Like I think he's well, of course, he's capable of getting you a number 1, number 2 level stats there. So Wes Smith. Number 6. Geno Smith. Interesting. Smith gets Smith. Look at that. And your stat will be number 3, turnovers. All right, guys. Luke, yes. If so, your Luke. It says Luke R beta. That means you've got an alpha somewhere that probably is playing. You might be on the other side of the bracket there. So, The next is James Johnson's beta, gets a bye. And now that takes us to Dinnerling versus Ravens 52, Ray Lewis, beta. So that is Elliot, actually, for those of you who don't know. Big Ravens fan, of course. But we're going to start with Dennis Dinnerling, the German. Deutschland. Oh, Deutschland. Deutschland. Drei. Deutschland Rose 3. Tua. Nice. Elliot, Ravens, 52, Ray Lewis gets a 1. Mahomes. Look, another Mahomes versus Tua. Weird. Okay. And your statistic will be number 3. Turnovers. Hope your guys take care of the freaking ball. You know, tomorrow night's games are going to be fun because I'm going to be watching the matchups too during the games. And by the way, after the show, I will post these in a regular list so you can see them all. Everybody's quarterbacks, everybody's opponents, so you guys can follow along too with what everyone's doing. Okay? So that takes us to the next one. Nightwalkers beta. Another Deutschland. Daniel gets a bye. That takes us to Dave Wilhauer Alpha and Michael Swearingen Alpha. Dave Wilhauer, let's go. You going to get to 7, Dave? You going to get to 7, Dave? Number 3, another Tua. Apparently the dice loves this guy. What the crap? All right. Michael Swearingen. I just want to type a new name. Come on, give me something. Number 9. 9. We haven't had that yet. Aaron Rodgers. Nice. So we got a new one there. Your stat will be number 4. Number 4, you're looking for completions. All right. Then that's Redcoat Beta is in the buy on that bracket. Takes us to Thomas Allen Alpha. My dad is a level 2 member, so he's going to get 2 entries. So this is his Alpha, which means his Beta is probably got to buy on the opposite side. In fact, I'm pretty sure he does. So Thomas Allen, if you're watching, I don't know if you are. You usually make your presence known, but here we go. For my dad. 11. Ugh, bad roll. Sorry, Dad. You can get mad at me later, I guess. Derek Carr. That could go either way. So, whoops. David Stevens. Here we go. David Stevens. A 6. Who is that? That's Geno Smith. Well, that's actually, we'll see. Geno is kind of an interesting thing, isn't it? He's an anomaly this year. It's kind of strange. 2, you guys are going to be looking at touchdowns. All right. Mr. Automotive's Gamma is in the buy section next. That takes us to Diane Tincher, and this is the last one for the Roman Empire side, which is the left side. The right side is the Byzantium, which is Milena's, because she's Bulgarian, and that was part of the Byzantium Empire and the Eastern Roman Empire. So we're the Western Roman Empire, meaning me. So here we go. Yes, Brady is positioned at number 7. That was on purpose because he's got 7 rings. Did I put too much torque on that roll? Did I? Okay. Diane Tincher, wherever you are, Diana. I'm going to put a little more torque on this one, okay? Here we go. Ready? 2. Look at that. I hooked you up. Jalen Hurts. Austin Thomas, let's go. 11. Sorry, Austin. Derek Carr. Well, again, you just never know what's going to happen. 3. Turnovers. Take care of the ball, guys. Take care of the ball. Okay, so we've got our left side of the thing, or the left side of the tournament worked out here. So I'm just going to go back over it. You guys like that sound? Click, 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 click. We have had Geno and Herbert. There was a Herbert site. Yeah, someone got Herbert a while ago. Can you guys believe that there's not been Brady yet? That's weird. Okay. All the way across. Boom. That takes us to the first buy is James Johnson Delta. That takes us to Kevin Godnett Beta. Big Vikings fan, by the way, if you couldn't tell from the name, versus Israel's Beta. So this is a Cowboys. This is a Vikings versus Cowboys fan. You guys ready? Honestly, if it was a 28-sided die, it would. Although you can't really make that, I don't think. But if there were, yes, Gourd King, it would be 28-3. Tom got 3. Yeah. Here we go. Kevin Godnett. This one's for you. 9. Aaron Rodgers. Israel. This one's for you, buddy. I'm so sorry. That is a 12. Another Jimmy Garoppolo. Now, see, if Milena was rolling, maybe it wouldn't have done that. Milena, come in here and stick your arm in here and roll for this guy. Watch Garoppolo have the game of his life tomorrow. And all these guys that got Jimmy go out and win. 3. Another Garoppolo based off of turnovers. That's so weird. What is going on here? All right. That takes us next to Lord Varsh's Beta, who gets a buy, and that James again. That's his Beta that gets a buy because he was in the other side. So another buy here. Biden Bluh Beta gets a buy, and now that takes us to Andy Butts Alpha versus Brad Gold. Andy Butts gets a Jalen Hurts. All right. Brad Gold. I'm going to laugh my ass off if he's the one that gets Tom Brady, because Brad Gold is a massive Kansas City Chiefs fan. Number 10, Ryan Tannehill. Oh, what am I doing here? And your statistic is 4 completions. The next buy is Redcoats Delta. Now we've got Elliott, Ravens Elliott's Alpha versus Johnny R. Muggins. Now this is one of 4 Facebook entries that we had. Elliott, here you go again, buddy. Let's see what you got. I hope you can get Lamar, man. I'm going to do this left-handed for a second just to see if we can get a 7 here. 7! Boom! See, the left hand gets it done, baby. The left hand gets it done. See, it changes it up right there. Boom! Elliott, Ravens fan, gets Tom Brady. Go left hand again here. Johnny Muggins. Oh! I rolled a 7 again. Oh, I got to roll again. 1. Patrick Mahomes. Look at that. Going to be a good one, guys. This is going to be one to watch right here. Okay? This is going to be one to watch. Now, let's see what the statistics are. Number 3, no turnovers. All right, that was interesting. Dyaburst gets Dyaburst beta. That's he gets the buy there. That takes us to Bitcoin Motorist Alpha versus Roman Marisak. Here we go. First roll. Oh yeah, I'm gonna do the left again. So here we go. Number 1 for Bitcoin Motorist. Bitcoin Motorist gets Patrick Mahomes. Roman Marisak. Oh, 12. Another Jimmy G. How many 12s can I mean, this is ridiculous. All right. Statistic is number 1, yards. Okay, there you have it. The next buy is now Nightwalker Delta, and that takes us to Luke R. There's your answer to your question. Luke R. Alpha versus Dave Wilhauer's Beta. Let's do this. So I'm going to stick with the... Actually, I'm going to do 2 hands this time. Boom, 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 boom. 2. Luke R. Boom. Gets Jalen Hurts. Dave Wilhauer. 11. Derek Carr. Statistic will be number 1, yards. All right. John Thomas Chavez, beta, gets the buy. That takes us to Donnie. Take a pick. Gamma. Oh, okay. Thank you, Milena. Elf of Courage is a $2 super chat and says, is there even a 7 on that dice? Yeah, well, it finally happened, and it happened 2 times in a row. See, that's got to be weird. That's got to be some kind of strange thing, right? So somebody might say that that's impossible. What are the chances, right? So, Donnie, take a pick. 13. Gamma. Number 5. I think this is a new one. I don't think we had that. Oh, wait. Yeah, we did. Joe Burrow. Yeah. Okay, so I think every quarterback has been assigned now. Everyone's gotten every quarterback. Another Facebook entry. Maria R. Maria, let's see what you got here. Number 3. That's a good roll. Good roll. Tua. That's going to be a good matchup there. Let's see what your stats are. 3 turnovers. No, that doesn't mean you're going to have 3 turnovers. Well, I hope not. Ozymandias 2014 beta gets the buy here. That takes us to Elf of Courage beta, his other one. So his alpha was on the other side. Okay. Wait. Super chat. So Dave Wilhauer says, Dave Wilhauer sends a $5 super chat, says, how about those Michigan Wolverines? Tom Brady and I are very happy tonight. Let's go. I'm sure Tom was happy. I'm sure he was watching. And they took care of business. And, last night's conversation, the debate there, and Pat Truthner, he's from Michigan. And we talked about Tom going to Michigan and Drew Henson. And if you guys don't know a lot about Drew Henson, he was I think, the best high school prospect that the state has ever had. And he was a hometown hero there. And then, they would keep pushing him to play. And they just kept trying to make it happen for him. And Tom kept beating him out. They would get behind in games in the first half, and then Tom Brady would come back and bring them back. And then at some point, you just got to take the best player. And, Drew Henson and his people were saying, hey, he's going to go play baseball if you don't give him a starting job and all this crap. And then finally, Drew did commit to baseball. He went to play for the Yankees for a few seasons. That didn't work out for him. And then he ended up being the quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys. So short-lived, of course, but that did happen. So funny, he played for baseball's and football's biggest fan bases. Elf of Courage Beta, here you go, my friend. You ready? Another burrow. Tiffany, here we go, Tiffany. Let's see what you got. Boom, number 8. Justin Herbert. Not too shabby. That's a number 8 that I wouldn't mind having right there. So that's a good roll, in my opinion. And of course, there is no bye weeks tomorrow, so every team is playing tomorrow, except the ones that played on Thursday. Your statistic is number 1, yards. That takes us to the Gourd King's Beta gets a bye, and that leads to Salami Pizza versus Ryan Dyer. Let's go. Have I watched the Brady 6 documentary? Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, I remember when that came out. I think it was 2011. 2011, maybe. Something like that. Yeah, so. All right, here we go. Salami pizza. Let's see what you got. Number 12, another Jimmy Garoppolo sighting. Yay. Ryan Dyer. Number 6, Geno Smith. I can't believe I would ever be saying Geno Smith in a top quarterback list. That's very bizarre to me. But hey, you know what? He earned it, I guess. So. Your statistic is number 3. Turnovers. Again, Garoppolo. And what is this? What the hell's going on? Seriously. That means that takes us to Tyree Vaughn's Gamma gets a bye versus Donnie's Beta gets a bye there. So they'll play next week. Addy Visorno's Beta gets a bye, and that takes us to another Allen. Look at that. Sherry Allen, my sister, versus James Johnson's Alpha. Elf of Courage sends a $5 super chat and says, Von Allen, if I have Joe Burrow for yards, that doesn't mean he has to win the game, does it? No, only if y'all tied. So if both your quarterbacks threw for the exact same yards, then it would be about who won. So and just let you know, at any time has my microphone gone hot, or has it been okay so far? What do I mean by hot? Has it cracked or anything like that? I've seen it go red a few times, and I just want to make sure it's okay. So, Dave Wilhauer asks, with all the 12s you roll, do you play the don't pass in Vegas? Yeah. Okay, good. Perfect. So, yeah, I don't know what this Jimmy G thing is. It's actually starting to freak me out. Uh-oh. All right. Just let me check something real quick. Yeah, half the empire dies if Jimmy G sucks. I can't believe this. It's just... Okay, just checking, making sure everything's going according to plan here. You couldn't script this any better. Sherry Allen, your quarterback is number 6, Geno Smith. James Johnson Alpha, your quarterback is number 4, Lamar Jackson. Interesting. All right. Hang on. Okay. Your statistic is number 4, completions. Of course it is. Of course it's completions. Yes, it is. That's just, yeah. All right. Mr. Automotives, Delta gets the bye. That takes us to, we're almost at the end here. That takes us to Julius Beyer's Alpha versus Nightwalker's Alpha. Julius Beyer, here you go. Let's see. All right. This is getting weird. All right, Nightwalker. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Zane, Elf, or Zwelf. Zeban! Nightwalker gets the Zeban. Tom Brady for Nightwalker. Boom. Nightwalker, Jimmy G versus Tom Brady. Let's go. All right. 3 turnovers. Again, another Garoppolo with turnovers. This is stupid. All right. NightlySinister, Beta, you get a bye. That takes us to Tyree Vaughn's Beta versus Kevin Godnett's Alpha. Here we go. Great script. Thank you, Luke. Milena, she's a screenwriter, so she wrote it. And that's just it's my job to kind of go through the motions and pretend like I'm all excited, and I got to pretend like I didn't know this. And see, what we're doing right now is that I already rolled these earlier, like a million times until I got the right ones. And this is just, I have a technology where it syncs when I roll, so it's kind of like I'm pretending to roll. See? Yeah, it's new technology I got. All right. Boom. Number 5 for Tyree Vaughn. That gives you the Joe Burrow. Kevin Godnett, Alpha. I put some torque on that one just now. Lamar Jackson, number 4. Your statistic will be 2 touchdowns. There you go, guys. Thomas Allen Beta gets a bye. That takes us to, how many we got left? 3 matchups left. Leo Gallimara versus Mastermind 2553. Let's go. Leo, let's go, Leo. That's a good roll, Leo. Mahomes. Mastermind. Are you kidding me? That's a 3. That is another Mahomes versus 2. I think that's the third one. You couldn't have scripted any better. All right, here we go. Your statistic will be 2 touchdowns. James Johnson Epsilon will get the bye there. Raphael Higoy versus Michael Swearingen Beta. Raphael is a pick from the Facebook. Okay. Raphael, I'm going to go left-handed here. Now, all these Jimmy Garoppolos, and so watch the 49ers fan not get Jimmy G. See, this is how this is going to go. 6. Geno Smith. So the 49ers fan got the Seahawks quarterback. You couldn't have scripted this any better. Seriously. So many coincidences, actually. I'm not being a dick. I'm not making fun of anybody. I'm serious though. This is weird, right? Like, okay. I give up. Jimmy Garoppolo, it's going to be a bloodbath tomorrow. Okay? This is... Come on, man. Watch it be a 3. A 2. We got something different for once. Okay, so Raphael Higoy, you've got the Seahawks quarterback versus your own quarterback, Garoppolo, for touchdowns. It takes us to Redcoats Gamma gets the bye. Now that takes us to my other brother, last of my siblings, Jason Allen. You guys know Jason. He comes on here sometimes, talks about injuries and stuff like that. Versus Caleb Nahus. He's, I don't know. I don't think I'm pronouncing that right. But Caleb, congratulations. You were the last Facebook choice. Okay. So this is the last roll for these guys. This is the last one. So I'm gonna put some torque into this crap. Number 8, my brother gets Justin Herbert. Versus Caleb, your quarterback is lots of torque. By the way, if I give it too much torque and it goes out of the box, I have to re-roll, just like in Monopoly or anything else. It stays inside for the number 9, Aaron Rodgers. So the last quarterback of the night is A-Rod, and that gives us a statistic of 2 touchdowns. There we go. This could be interesting. That's a good matchup there. So let's go, baby. Yeah, Jason told me that if he wins the Xbox, he's going to trade it in for an Atari. That's actually true, Gourd King. Actually, I think what he wants is an Atari and a Nintendo. And like you said, if Jimmy plays well, his nickname here will be Jimmy Xbox. If he loses, James Atari. But actually, my brother does love Atari. But that is a funny joke, actually. So I like it. So I'm going to just scroll back up through there. Make sure we didn't get anything wrong or miss anything. Everything went according to plan. So just kidding. All right. This was fun. I enjoyed this. I wish I could be in the tournament, though. I wish I had a quarterback to root for tomorrow. Okay. Not very many Tom Brady's tomorrow. Gourd King with the $2 super chat says, let the Jimmy G Invitational begin. Absolutely true. So weird. Alrighty, so these, like I said, I'm going to post these. As soon as the show's over, I'll make a list and you'll see them all together. I don't think I'm going to be able to do a screenshot of the whole bracket because it'd be so small. I'll try, but that doesn't matter. You'll have the list anyway. So I'm going to switch over to the main screen here. So what am I doing? Okay. Gourd King says, I propose an amendment. If Baker Mayfield outperforms all 12 quarterbacks for the rest of the season, I get the Xbox. Really? Well, I'm not getting an Xbox then. Luke says, well, I have to root for my local team's quarterback. I'm weird and I don't like the teams from my state. So did we get a vote? Did we get a vote on what y'all want to do about the injury clause? Milena, did you keep an eye on that? So we've got what if the world ends tonight, Luke? Well, I think the contest might not happen. I mean, I might find a way to try to like create a bubble around myself with just a little bit of oxygen and like float through space away from whatever calamity ended the world and try to host it. But I don't know if you guys will be watching if the world ends. So even if I was able to pull that off, I also have no idea what I'm talking about. Oh, I missed one here. Austin Thomas sent a members chat. So sorry, Austin, I missed that. He says, this week is luck. If they get hurt, let it ride. All right. So on the vote, we got John Thomas Chavez says yes. Dave says no. Alpha Courage says no. Austin says no. Michael Swearenge says yes. No. Yes. Looks like we got more no's. Okay. So if your guy gets hurt in the first quarter, what we're going to do is we're not going to do that. So if your guy gets hurt in the first quarter, it's done. I'm sorry, but the people have spoken. So that's how it works. Democracy in action. It's a threat to democracy. If you don't vote for me, then you're voting against democracy. That makes no sense. It's an oxymoron. It doesn't make sense. If only you vote for the one person, you have to vote for one person for democracy to survive. That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. It makes my head explode. Just, it's like someone saying, I'm proud. I'm proud that I'm so humble. What? Oh, yeah. So. Yeah, so if your guy gets hurt, you're going to be stuck with his stats for the game. However, what if you're in a turnover game like Ryan Dyer is saying? He says, so if you have turnovers as your statistic and the player gets hurt, will that actually create an advantage? And it actually would if your thing is turnovers. Absolutely. So this is a case where the injury could help you. So in a turnover game. So that makes it interesting. But you've already voted. You can't get it back. So I really enjoyed this. Did you guys like this? Did you have fun there? I did. I had fun rolling. It felt like when I was a kid, we used to play Dungeons and Dragons, and NightlySinister knows what I'm talking about. He's in the chat right there. We used to play all weekend. Someone please blow up the car outside. These car alarms, they don't do anything. Everyone ignores the car alarm. So it makes no sense. Like, it's just, no one gives a crap. No one's like, ooh, it's just annoying. If someone's stealing that car right now, I hope they just steal it so that thing will turn off. Okay, just go. I don't care. Just make it stop. I don't think a car alarm's ever saved any car from being stolen. So stupid. What you need to do, or what would work, is a car alarm that when it goes off, it sounds like some kind of official government voice that says bomb threat or this apartment complex is full of leftists, and just or wait, we're in California. This apartment complex is full of Republicans, and then everyone runs away. That might actually work. So. Yeah, it was loud. If you can hear that, because I have a compressor on here and a noise gate and all the good stuff, and it still comes through. Yeah, it depends on where you're at, I guess. Car alarm torque. It did have some torque, actually. Did you guys have a good Thanksgiving, by the way? I hope so. This is funny. I'm going to put this up here again. Let the Jimmy G Invitational begin. Yeah. That's basically what the deal is. If the car alarm played Forever and Ever by Chris Sims, no car would be stolen, though many would be blown up. That's true. You're the greatest quarterback I've ever seen. Forever and ever. Forever and ever. Aaron Rodgers, I love you. Chris Sims wears Aaron Rodgers pajamas. Well, probably not anymore. You know, Chris is a company man. He's a company man. He does what the company says. And ever since Aaron Rodgers is not so popular anymore, with his whole ordeal last summer, he's a bad guy. Remember? Chris Sims is probably worshiping Patrick Mahomes, I bet. So... yeah, I'm sorry about that, but I had to get it done there. So, all right, guys. So, I guess that's it. I don't have much else to do now. Let's see. Is there anything I'm missing? Is there anything that we need to talk about that I'm forgetting? You tell me. Why am I talking like this right now? Why am I talking creepy, like I'm a serial killer or... What the hell is that? I hear another female voice, and it's not Milena's. I wonder who she's talking to. I bet it's a delivery. I bet it's a delivery driver. Yes, I did, John Thomas Chavez. Yes, I did. Milena, we all want to know who you're talking to. She isn't telling us. We all want to know who you're talking to. Oh, delivery. A delivery girl, right? Oh! Oh!
You could hear it all the way?
Yes.
That was really far.
Huh?
That whole case.
You better take this away before I do something really bad with it.
Or funny.
Yes. Yes, so... yeah. Damn. Give me just a second. There's something I was meaning to talk about. I know it's just us guys here right now. This is like the members thing. It's all of us, you know. Well, no, it's actually it's set to public, but I'm just saying that every single person in the chat is a member. So it's just us. Now I could change it over, but I really, really need Tom, and I need the Bucks to play tomorrow morning very well against the Browns. And Addy, I know, but I'm sorry, but we need this. So, yeah, I did the picks last night. You know, there was a few things during the debate that you know, I didn't get a chance to mention, because when you're debating, and I'll tell you guys this, for those of you who some people have maybe not been on camera or not been in a competitive situation, or where you're having to think, instantly, even in like board games and stuff, there's always, I should have known that, or I knew the answer, or whatever. And there's always something you forget, or you get sidetracked, or somebody mentions something else and you meant to get back to that. But yeah, I mean, that could have gone on for a while, but it's just, the thing is that one thing can be put out there, one thing. So one line, and this is incredible. All right. This is absolutely incredible. So there was a lawyer, and we talked about, I mentioned this in the debate, but there's a lawyer that was representing the Jets ticket fan, the Jets fan, who was suing Bill Belichick and the National Football League for Spygate, and saying blah blah blah, that they deserved to be paid back for everything, and probably I'm sure they wanted more information, or more money and all that. But something up with Stafford there. Yeah, that's strange. Are we in the Twilight Zone? Normality is elusive. Okay, but with that ticket situation and with that lawsuit, that guy's lawyer made just a comment, like just like, it's like the WWE, it's sports entertainment. One person, somebody, I don't know who, at some point in the last 12 years since that lawsuit, took that, and because it was involved in a court case when the comment was made, this is a comment, an opinion, they took that and changed it to where that's official, and that the NFL is officially sports entertainment. So that has been repeated everywhere so many times, and now it's become a common belief. It's just, that's what people believe. And it was so common when you looked it up, or when you tried to find it, that you start wondering, like, is that true? Why are so many people? This is incredible. So when I went to look and try to see if I could find the actual evidence of it, there isn't, because it's not registered like that. That doesn't make any sense. It's just made up. It's just a lawyer saying anything, to try to help his client somehow. And this is the problem with the internet right now. And it's been this way for a while. Always check, always look for facts, always look into things before you start telling everybody about stuff like this, because so many times I find that things are not what people are saying, and there's always more to it, or it's taken out of context, or they don't tell you, and there's just always more to the story. Regarding the situation with Tom Brady and Tom Brady's dad, and last night, we talked about Tom Brady's dad's net worth. Okay, so that's I did some research on it because I was very curious about what the number actually was. I knew it wasn't $1 billion. I know that's ridiculous. It says now, to this day, it's like 1.5, something like that. Nobody knows, actually, because that's just private information. How would these? But that sounds reasonable, actually, at this point now. But whether we say someone is middle class or upper class, to me, middle class is like up to like $900,000 a year, I guess. I know that sounds like a lot of money, but when you live in like a place in like Northern California, that is middle class. Although in Arkansas, that would be upper class. But for where he was, whatever. The point is that he's not the son of a millionaire, and he wasn't, and that's just not true. But I came along a documentary that Pat had done. So it was regarding the truth about Tom Brady. And there was like 3 parts in it, and then another documentary about Drew Bledsoe. But I think I discovered where he got this from, or why he was thinking this. And it's just an honest mistake is what it is. Seriously. So he connected Tom Brady's father to the NFL, because I'd kept asking, why do you keep connecting them? Because there's a million rich people, in the world that's just has sons that want to do this or that. And why Tom Brady? The money is not an answer, right? But there's got to be a connection of some sort. So in this video of his, he mentioned that Tom Brady Sr. was involved in NFL films. So that's weird, right? And I was like, wait, that doesn't make no sense. Well, I actually have IMDb credits. So where this guy, where Pat, now that I know him, where Pat got this from, and I don't know, he might have got it from someone else. I have no idea. But IMDb, the way it lists stuff is very strange. And it also depends on if you're doing the mobile version or if you're doing the computer, just the website version on your computer. It also depends on when you looked it up. It changes. But basically, the credits work like this. If you look up Tom Brady Sr. on IMDb, because he referenced IMDb, it says that he had credited for NFL films. Well, NFL films, this is NFL films 1967. So he was saying that Tom Brady Sr. had been working with NFL films since 1967. So there's Tom's connection, is that his dad was part of the films, part of the entertainment industry. Well, that doesn't, no, Tom Brady's dad has nothing to do with the NFL, never did, except that now he does. Well, he doesn't even work for the NFL or works with them, but he's Tom Brady's dad. That's the only connection, right? All right. So basically, if you look up, say, Tom Brady Sr., and it gives him credit for like I said, the Brady Six or America's Game or whatever he might have done, I'm just listing some, it will give him an NFL Films credit, right? And it will say NFL Films 1967. Sometimes it doesn't say what year you did it in. It just gives the credit to the production company. Well, the NFL Films was founded in that year. So it will say that no matter what. If Patrick Mahomes does an interview right now, it could say NFL. If he had NFL Films credit for doing an interview, it would give him credit, NFL Films 1967. Well, Patrick Mahomes wasn't obviously alive in 1967. So that is a weird thing about IMDb and how they do stuff, and it just depends on how you look at it. So I could see how someone could be misled by that, and I'm pretty sure that's what happened there. So. But the point is that I think that is where the connection was, the connection that he was trying to make between Brady and the NFL. Because I couldn't figure out like money's not enough, but that's it. That's actually it right there. That the NFL Films thing, and it's just a mistake that a lot of people can make if you're not familiar with IMDb credits. I have some on there from doing as a composer, so doing music for a few projects, and it's weird, like how it enters in there. If I was to do if I had a cameo in, let's say, 60 Minutes or whatever, and they did an interview of me for 60 Minutes, it might say 60 Minutes, and then when it was established decades, long ass time ago, right? So it's just a weird thing. It's just how it's listed. So. And of course, let's just do the what if. What if Tom Brady Sr. was a billionaire? Okay? What if he had worked with NFL Films since 1967? Let's say that's all true. So, still doesn't mean anything. It's just, it means nothing, you know? There are a lot of things in this world that are shady. It just depends on what the format is, what the motivation is. For example, what would be an example of shady? Something that's not right. Reality TV. Reality TV. They call it reality TV, but it's scripted, and everyone knows this. It's WWE. They don't call it scripted sports entertainment. That just doesn't sound good. That just sounds boring, but it's sports entertainment, and it just means that it's a play with athletes. That's all that is. Athletic contests are different. Athletic contests are exactly what they are. They're contests, and if they're not honest, if they're not performing correctly, that is a crime, actually. So, and it would destroy everything you are. It would completely destroy it. It would be over. And then the risk versus reward, then you would need how many, like James Johnson said, how many, you have to ask yourself, how many people are involved and have to keep a secret in order to keep this thing going. And the more people you have involved, the lesser probability that it's actually possible or plausible. Ben Franklin, I think, once said, 3 people can keep a secret if the other 2 people are dead. Okay? This is a truism throughout human history. Okay? It's just how it works. But anyway, I just wanted to point that out there that I think Pat was just misled by that particular connection, and that's where he was putting that there. But yeah, IMDb is weird. You would think that it depends. Like I said, if you're looking on the mobile or not, you would think that it would just have the year that you did the project. Sometimes it doesn't. It's so strange. Now, if you click into it and look at it closely, then it will change over. But if you look at it in a broad sense, and I know years ago IMDb was listed very strangely, and it did it constantly. So yeah, Mike, yeah, I did see that. It's really there's a movie. I don't know if that's the one you're talking about. So yeah, Jalen. Yeah, exactly, Jalen. The those websites. That's exactly what I was talking about. Is that when you search those, all these fake sites, and you know, that's what I was talking about last night in the debate. It says that I'm a millionaire. So there are a few sites that my dad found. He's like, I'm his son. He checks it out, Googles my name, and he's like, what is this? I don't know. So they just generate things. A bot or something generates this stuff based off of a name and based off I don't know what the criteria is for that. But like I said, there's just as many that say a millionaire or whatever. But yeah, like Jalen, that's a very good point, Jalen. If it was the first thing listed, then that means that site gets a lot of hits for the celebrity worth or net worth or whatever. And you could get it from that. So that in itself is misinformation. That is a lie. And that website is pushing that. So I don't know. I think it's ridiculous that those things even exist without any real evidence of that. And again, it's very hard to calculate that. But yeah, Tom Brady's dad ran an insurance company, so that's common knowledge and very basic. And that is the stuff you can verify. I mean, I don't think anybody thought that Tom Brady grew up poor, did they? I mean, no. But a lot of these athletes, a lot of these successful athletes, they grew up pretty good. The certain type, to be for a quarterback, for example, you need kind of money to go to those quarterback camps and really work with people and stuff. And tennis players are very similar. Tennis players, most of them grew up like rich kids, because they go to those tennis camps and everything. It's very expensive to send your kids to this stuff and to that level. Nowadays, if your kid is a quarterback, you want to send them to like Peyton Manning's and Eli Manning's camp. That's a lot of money. It depends on how much time you want to work with them and stuff to get to that level to work on this. So, oh no, of course not. Of course not. I'm just saying why a lot of them seem to have come from money. That there's a correlation there. It doesn't mean you have to have money either. It doesn't. Okay. But that quarterback position is one of those positions that, you have to really put a lot of time in and a lot of coaching and a lot of teaching and just a lot of focus. And then you still got to have the skill set. You've got to have the ability to do it. But that's the common thread there, why you see a lot of these quarterbacks who grew up with money. As far as a guy being the son of an athlete, and he pointed that out, of course, I don't understand why that would be weird. In fact, it actually is just the opposite. That makes sense. When you are the son of an athlete and a famous athlete like Mahomes, for example, or Christian McCaffrey, not that his dad was famous, but he was, a pretty decent player for the Broncos. When you grow up in that environment, when you're like Kobe Bryant, you're Ken Griffey Jr., I mean, all these guys, they grow up this way and their dad's teaching them how things are, and they probably got the God-given talent, because they got it from their father. A lot of times these famous athletes, they marry, the women they marry are usually athletes too, like common interest. So that kid is going to have some pretty good DNA when it comes to physical skills, physical ability, and things like that, and temperament, understanding how the sport works, all that stuff. So that's actually makes more sense why that would be that way. Sorry, what? Yeah, I never thought anyone ever thought that Tom was some poor kid. Never thought that. Not once have I ever thought that. I've never thought that Tom came from some poor place or some, low income area or something. Did anyone ever think that? I don't think so. So. When they talk about his beginnings and where he comes from, it's sports related. So we're talking about in high school, he wasn't even the starting quarterback for a team that couldn't win a game. And then he worked his way up there. Then when he went to Michigan, he was at the bottom of the depth chart, which is very common for a lot of people, but not common to work your way up so far. He's the exception. So be 6th, 7th on the depth chart, whatever it is, most universities carry this. That's kind of standard that you have that many positions there, or that many for that position. Then he works his way up through a lot of hard work and stuff, and then he goes to the Patriots and works his way up through the ranks, and then becomes Drew Bledsoe's backup. So the story is the underdog story. Underdog as far as not being a sought-out athlete by the NFL and not being a sought-out athlete as much from the university's standpoint. That is what they're implying. I can't speak for everybody, but I felt it was never communicated to me or anywhere else that Tom was poor or came from poor. No, I think a lot of people are confusing the athletic underdog story, his position in sports, not the position in life. So, yeah, I don't know. I guess that's just a matter of perception. That's just, but, whatever. So Patrick Mahomes grew up the son of a famous baseball player and rich baseball player. So, how many people can make the throws that Patrick Mahomes makes? How many people can do what Mahomes makes? Why can Mahomes throw the football like a baseball so easily? Why can he do that? Well, I don't know. Maybe because his father was a baseball player, taught him how to do that. And, of course, he was given that athletic ability as well, and it just worked out for him. You still have to do those things. You have to think. You have to know. You have to have the ability to do that stuff. The only thing upbringing does for you is gives you a chance, if you have a more of a rich upbringing, or not even rich, but just the higher it goes, more chances to get better schooling, better coaching, and things like that. So you get opportunities, but it's not going to help you when it comes to actually getting the job done. All right. Zach Wilson just got benched. Okay. Zach Wilson did grow up a rich kid. He really did. His uncles owned some airlines, or started some airlines, JetBlue, I think, is one of them. So, yeah, his uncles are probably worth at least 50, 75 million, maybe. So Zach Wilson did grow up a rich kid. This dude just got benched. And he got benched because he sucked. All right. But he got drafted because he did well in college. He did okay. So these scouts, these NFL teams, they want guys who can perform, and they don't care where you're from. So, I mean, we could do this all day if we talk about all positions. We're just talking about quarterback here, and that's specifically quarterback. But you look at all positions, and that's the best way to get out of poverty, or to get out of a bad situation or something. If you can play sports, if you can do something like that, man, that's a one-way ticket. That's a one-way ticket out of there. These guys want to win. These colleges want to win. They want to win championships. They want to be good, and they'll just take you. If you can play, they'll take you. That's just it. Like all the stuff that we talked about, I can understand why people could think that, and I could understand why you could be watching it on TV and think, oh, that guy's not trying. Like, oh, that guy is wide open. Why is he so wide open? And that defensive back is not even trying to get there. Well, on television, it could look at times like the guy's wide open, right? But in reality, it's not that way. So you see a defensive back off, 5 yards, and you're like, why? He's so close. On television, it looks like he's right there. Why isn't he trying? Well, in real life, he might as well be 15 yards away. So he's not catching him. He's not going to get there in time before the guy gets into the end zone. It's over. It's done. You can't stop him. So there's a lot of that. So when you do see stuff like that, not everything is an optical illusion, but some of it is. The things that's probably the most misconstrued as far as what you see visually, the kicks. The kicks are very deceptive, and I know that from a personal standpoint from kicking. So I remember kicking, practicing every day, kicking a lot of balls, and if you shank it, a shank where you hit it wrong, it does all kinds of stupid crap. It'll go whoop, bloop. It'll seem like it's doing all this weird stuff in the air. A lot of it is kind of, well, not as extreme as it is. It's basically how our sight works and how we see, objects moving. But if you were to do a measurement and you'd see, oh, that ball moved only a yard, or less than a yard, and it moved, but it looked like it curved so much, but actually didn't. It just kind of makes you think it did. It actually was moving forward, which gave your eyes this perception that it was actually moving from the side farther than it really did. And like I said, from personally kicking, when a ball does some kind of weird curve back in, curve back out, or something like that, most likely, unless that kicker, that's his style to curve it in, which is a very dangerous style to do if you're a kicker, you usually hit it wrong. Now, the reason it doesn't happen all the time is because these kickers are very good, and they almost always kick the ball correctly. So for them to shank it like that and for it to do all this funny stuff, that's a mishit. Sometimes those mishits can go in, sometimes they can go out. So just as easily as it can look like it's going in or just like it's going out and then it comes back in, It could just as easily look like it's going in and then go back out. It just depends on which side you kicked it on, what foot the kicker is, and there's even rare cases like Phil Dawson, who kicks with his right foot, but the ball comes off his foot as if it was he does this weird twist with his foot, very strange, and the ball comes out very weird. But there's just things like that happen. And Phil Dawson was known for having a lot of weird looking kicks because of that. But yeah, what you see on TV is definitely could be deceiving. So. Yeah, definitely. Money will not help you be a professional. It just won't. I'm sorry, but it won't. It just gives you the tools to work on your craft if you've got talent. If you've got ability and talent, money can help you get better coaching and stuff like that. But and you don't necessarily need that, of course. But that's really the advantage you would get is from that alone. But you still have to do it. It doesn't magically mean that you can do those things. And that's for anything, generally speaking. I mean, there are cases like Joe Biden's son, stuff like that. But they weren't paying him for his services. They were paying for access to his father. So that's one of those type of nepotism things that you didn't earn. But we're talking about sports and not a criminal enterprise like politics, which would be a different thing. So absolutely, Ryan, you should definitely not rely on sports to get out of poverty, although it is probably the quickest way to get out of poverty, or at least one of them. So you can go from absolutely nothing and get an education, and all of a sudden you're on track to sports. But you've got to be good. We're talking about a very, very small percentage. There's a lot of great athletes in this country. We have a lot of them. Very few see pro sports, very few. And even fewer get to have a career, to get to play more than a season or two. It's the numbers are so small. People just don't understand and take the time to really think about it and go, wow, this is just crazy how small the number is. It's, yeah. But you know how many degrees were handed out to guys who were good athletes, and maybe they weren't pro material, but they played good enough to get an education, and that's awesome. Good for them, So that there's other ways to do it, but you still have to have that ability. I don't care. So I can't. There's certain people I know, I can't make them a professional tennis player. I cannot make them a quarterback. I could give them all the training in the world. I could buy their way into every academy and everything, and it's just not going to happen. Sorry. It's not going to happen. Tom Brady's never going to be a track star, so it's just not going to work. Okay, guys. What do I think about the Jerry Jones thing? I think it's ridiculous as far as like who gives a shit. We have a president right now that's the biggest racist in America, probably. And you can pull up him just relatively recently hanging out with KKK people and stuff like that. And they show a picture of Jerry Jones when he's 14. I don't know, like, where do we draw the line here? I just don't care, actually. It doesn't make any difference. So, first of all, we don't know the context of the picture as far as what he was doing. We know what was happening, but we don't know what he was doing or what he was thinking. But again, at 14, oh my God, when I was a teenager, and when any of us were teenagers, we did stupid stuff, well, maybe not stuff like that he's being accused of. That never came up, of course, and those things weren't part of my upbringing. But it could be something else. It could be, did you hang out with your friends and y'all get drunk, or did you do something stupid or whatever. I mean, everyone's got those stories when they're teenagers. At 14, just being in a photo, I don't know. I think we live in a time where every little thing, everyone's a target. If they're not fashionable, if they're not part of the current trend. Right now, it's a trend. It's an attack on anybody who is not part of the mass media and part of the agenda. So they don't like him. They're going to pull stuff like that up, but no one wants to talk about Biden and people like that. So, and how hardcore racist they are, because they're on the right side of the media. So they're on the... So if you want to keep it consistent, then fine, I guess, whatever. I still don't think a child should be, he was a child then. I don't think that should, it's not like it was, again, we don't know everything about what was going on, but yeah, I don't care. What I know Jerry Jones for is destroying what could have been. They could have won more than 3. They could have. And he messed that up. But Aaron, I know when Barry Switzer, he got one. He got the 3rd one. Well, you know what? That's how good that team was. And that's why I'm saying that if you keep Jimmy Johnson and let him do his thing, who knows what would have happened. That could have been something, even bigger than that. So we just don't know. But Jerry got too involved, tried to be the head coach, tried to be the owner. Tried to be the general manager, and thinks that he knows everything about it. And that has led to still no Super Bowl. He paid wrong quarterbacks in the past, gave too much money to certain players that maybe shouldn't have been, or wasn't a good matchup, or he seems to be excited by certain names and not necessarily like what they're about or if it fits. If he was smart, for example, if he actually knew football pretty well, he would have done everything he could to get Tom Brady. He would have gone after him after Tom left New England. He would have traded Dak for a lot of stuff, maybe picks or players or whatever it was that you want at the time. You bring in Brady. Brady would have brought with him Gronk and Fournette and Antonio Brown, and boom, the Cowboys would have been in a similar position as the Bucs. He didn't think to do that. Not only that, Dallas would have been better off, even more better off, because they would have been able to trade Dak for some stuff, and he didn't think to do that. So. Yeah, Kevin, if Jimmy stays, they steal a bowl from either Green Bay or Denver. Absolutely. And I don't think that they beat San Francisco in 94. I agree. Yeah, that I wasn't even thinking about that 94 one. San Francisco was they're just, and that NFC Championship game, that was the Super Bowl. And, that was whoever was going to win that game was going to win the Super Bowl. Whoever was going to win that championship game, the NFC Championship game, was going to beat the Chargers. It's just, that was a foregone conclusion there, whether it was Dallas or San Francisco. But I agree with you. I think they could have got another one. And they could have had 4. They could have 4 in one decade, and we've their story would have been even bigger. So, and let's also not forget, Jerry, that would have meant that Jerry was not too involved, and he wasn't meddling and micromanaging every facet of the team. So even today, the last 20 years, they probably would have been better off. They probably would have done different, had Jimmy Johnson probably wouldn't be the coach, of course, anymore, but better decision making, they might have turned out better. So I mean, Jason Garrett was a garbage coach, and he kept him for seemingly forever, which is weird. Wade Phillips is not a good head coach. He's a great defensive coordinator, but he's not a good head coach. That was a bad decision. Bill Parcells, he had Bill Parcells. You have Bill Parcells as your head coach, and you intervene and you try to mess with that. You got to let Bill Parcells do his thing. You got to let him be that guy. And so there were chances. Jerry Jones has chances, and there was mistakes made. So was Jerry drunk when he fired Jimmy Johnson? I have no idea. Chuck Norris once made a field goal in Raymond James Stadium all the way from the 99-yard line in Qualcomm Stadium. Wow. Well, that's Chuck Norris, though, right? So. Elf of Courage sends a $5 super chat and says, the Cowboys have the same head coach since 1989. They just hire figureheads. That's true. That's after Tom Landry, basically Jerry Jones just hires yes men, and Jimmy Johnson didn't want to be a yes man, and that's why they butted heads. All what could have been. Robert Kraft learned that lesson. He admitted it. Robert Kraft said at first he was like a Jerry Jones type. He was intervening and getting involved too much. That's why Bill Parcells left. Again, another Bill Parcells situation. Bill wanted out, and that's why he went to the Jets, because Robert Kraft was doing that stuff. And then when Bill Belichick, after he got rid of Pete Carroll, Kraft hired Belichick, and then he started changing a bit and pulled back. And when he pulled back, good things happened. Just because you're a rich businessman does not mean you know anything about running a football team. Stop it with that crap. Stop it. So. As far as Bill Parcells in Dallas, Jerry Jones kept trying to micromanage him, and they constantly were at odds with each other. And Jerry wouldn't let Bill be Bill. He wouldn't let him do what he does. And I remember just thinking, why? Like, why are you doing this? Didn't you learn your lesson from the Jimmy Johnson situation? Didn't you see? But ego, man, ego. It's a powerful thing. So, all right, guys. Let's see here. Shout out to Vikings. Kevin. Yep. Kevin. Absolutely. Screw it. It's Saturday night. Let's talk football. Okay. Kevin Godnett sends a $5 super chat. He says, Parcells is probably the most underrated coach in NFL history. He was a culture changer everywhere he went. Shame on Jerry's ego for how it ended. Shame on Jerry. Shame on Robert Kraft. So I couldn't imagine, Robert Kraft didn't intervene with Bill Parcells in the 90s. What happens there, So, I mean, I don't know. I'm not saying that there would be a big dynasty or anything like that, but I think that I do believe, I know this, that Super Bowl against the Packers in 96, that team went into that game knowing that their coach was leaving. And that doesn't help. That doesn't help things, okay? Infighting, things like that at the highest levels don't help. It doesn't, you need chemistry. You need everybody on the same page, everybody working towards the same goal. You don't need other crap going on. It makes it too difficult. So. Yes, Mike Miller. Romo was drafted. Yeah, Romo was drafted by Bill Parcells. One thing that Bill spoke about regarding Jerry Jones is that Jerry would constantly intervene, and if Bill wanted a guy, he would have to get it approved from Jerry, and if Jerry didn't like him, then or didn't think it was good, then he would tell him to find somebody else. Like it was, Bill never actually got to. You know what would sum this up better? Bill Parcells, one of his most famous quotes was when he was coaching for the Cowboys and he was taking a shot at Jerry Jones. He said, you know what? If they want you to cook the food, the least they could do is let you shop for the groceries. And that was Parcells saying, basically, let me build this team the way I want to build it. And that was the problem there. So could have gone, it could have gone either way. But yeah, I remember Romo. He was, I think he came out of Wisconsin. I think he wasn't he a free agent or no, he was undrafted. Romo's undrafted because I remember them talking about how good of a golf player he was. They were making a big deal out of him, and it was preseason game. Drew Bledsoe was the quarterback, and they were talking about this kid Tony Romo, how he is such a great golf player and all this stuff and all that crap. But yeah, I remember them saying that stuff, and then I remember Drew getting benched against the Giants. It was Drew had a bad half. They're a bad pick. At halftime, they came back out, and Romo came out and played, and then that was the rest of it. Unfortunate, but for Drew, but it happens. So. Illinois. What did I say? Wisconsin? Illinois. Got it. Yeah, that's right. Jimmy G. Yeah, that's right. Jimmy G and Romo are from the same college. Yeah. I forgot about that. That's true. How did the Browns mess up Belichick head coach and Nick Saban D coordinator at the same time? Isn't that interesting? So Art Modell wanted to move the team, and I guess maybe you needed a scapegoat, right? Somebody to blame. So they move and become the Baltimore Ravens. I saw a video, a different channel. I don't know who this channel is. It was recommended to me in my things. About rigging. Another NFL is rigged and how they rig Super Bowls for certain teams. The guy's argument was Art Modell was trying to sell the Ravens, so they gave him a Super Bowl, the Ravens a Super Bowl in 2000, in order to sell the Ravens and drive the price up. The problem with this theory is that Art Modell sold the Ravens in 2004. So the Ravens won in 2000. You would want to sell the Ravens on their Super Bowl run or after, right after, at that point. That would drive the price up. And even if he had done that, it doesn't mean anything. It just means that you sold your team at its highest point. It's like selling a house. Do you sell your house when the market is up or when the market is down? You don't sell it years later after the Ravens are kind of just and they're okay and whatever, and then you decide to sell them. No, you sell them. So I don't know why they thought that or whatever, but again, another they picture things. Another one I heard was about Katrina. So you guys will like this one. So the Saints won the Super Bowl. Okay, did you guys know this? The Saints won the Super Bowl. Again, this is a different channel. This is not from Pat's channel. This is some other guy's channel. But this guy says that the Saints won the Super Bowl because of Hurricane Katrina. Another situation where years and time frames really don't mean a lot to these people. Okay? Katrina was in 2005. All right? Think it was the summertime. Yeah. Pretty sure. The Saints won the Super Bowl in 2010. By the time the Saints won the Super Bowl, Hurricane Katrina was a thing in the past. Like everyone was well past this, well over it. Okay? I don't know why they think that. They say, oh, well, the Saints got good all of a sudden in 2006. What happened in 2006? Can anyone help me? Someone? What did they do in 2006? There you go. Kevin Godnett got there first. Sean Payton, Drew Brees. Their arrival coincided with being better. And what do we know from NFL history? What generally happens when a team who has been not so good for a while, and then they do get good? What is usually, okay, there are rare, what is usually the trait of that team? It means that they've got an elite quarterback. They either drafted one or they signed one, and they've got a pretty good coach, either or both. And that is exactly what happened with the Saints. And in 2006, they made it all the way to the NFC Championship game, and they just lost to the Bears in a very rainy, nasty, gross game in Chicago. And, the Saints were indoor, they're an indoor team and stuff, and maybe that just wasn't their best day for them. But if they want to talk about that run after Katrina, I don't know. But yeah, it's just, you generally don't, if you're trying to give a town a Super Bowl, or you're trying to do that for some kind of conspiracy reasons or whatever, and you want to do that, you don't do it all the way into 2010 after it's become, a national afterthought. Because as we know in this country, we go with trends. Like right now, it's all, Ukraine flag. And in a few months, it'll be something else, and it'll be something else, and something else, and something else. Remember after 9/11, when every single vehicle had an American flag attached to it? What happened to that patriotism? What happened? Where did it go? Why don't we do that anyway? Why didn't that keep going? Because these things fade out. They become distant memories. And by the time 2010 Saints won Super Bowl, nobody cared. Nobody remembered. If you're in New Orleans, you care. But the rest of the country, it's whatever the next thing was. And there was probably a million next things by the time 2010 happened. So, weird argument. I don't really kind of understand that one. Again, it's a timeline problem. So, and even if it wasn't, even if the Saints, let's say the Saints had beat the Bears in the NFC Championship game in 2006, went on and then won and beat the Colts in the Super Bowl, it still doesn't mean anything because, like I said, the Saints were building something, and they brought in Drew Brees and they brought in Sean Payton, who we now know are excellent head coach and quarterback. And they pretty much stayed on that trajectory for a long time. Same thing with the Patriots. And they try to say, the Patriots is a one-off. They won because of 9/11. Well, no, you don't give a Super Bowl to New York's biggest rival and most hated city in the world. Okay? New York hates Boston. Boston hates New York. That would be a really stupid way to reward them. You don't do that. So, And also, it wasn't a one-off. The Patriots became one of the in my opinion, the greatest dynasty in NFL history. That wasn't a fluke. That wasn't anything like that. That was something that was coming, something that was going to happen, no matter what. So, what was the big change? The big change in 01, Tom Brady. Tom Brady was changed that year. If Drew Bledsoe stays at quarterback, we don't know what would have happened. We don't know. We don't know if Drew makes the same decisions as Tom. And honestly, I don't think he does. One of his things, I love Drew, man, but one of the things that Bledsoe did is that he made bad throws and he would make stupid throws. And he thought that his arm could do everything and he could just launch it in there. And a lot of times that was the correct decision, but a lot of times he just wouldn't take the easy throws. I would not want Drew Bledsoe in that last drive in the Super Bowl against the Rams to line up Adam Vinatieri. I wouldn't trust it. But but Tom did it. He took the easy, the throws that they gave him. He's patient and all that. So that happened. Tom happened. Then he goes on to become the greatest quarterback of all time. So that's not a fluke. That's not okay, why didn't Trent Dilfer become the GOAT then? Why didn't, because of the Baltimore Ravens conspiracy, So that's right, Elva Courage. That's absolutely. Elva Courage sends a $2 super chat and says, Nick Saban wanted to bring Drew Brees to Miami, and the general manager and the owner, I believe Wayne Huizenga was the owner at that time, but they disagreed. So no Drew Brees. So that would have been interesting, though. Drew Brees being in the AFC East all these years, that would have made for some interesting games. Let's see. Mike Miller says Saints conspiracy is real and they weren't supposed to win. So the next Super Bowl in New Orleans, the lights went out and New Orleans hasn't had the Super Bowl since. Could you be more specific about that? What are you referring to? They weren't supposed to win. So the next Super Bowl in New Orleans, the lights went out and New Orleans hasn't. I don't understand what you're saying. Could you explain? How did the lights go out during the Super Bowl? That was the Ravens and 49ers that the lights went out. It was in Mercedes-Benz. Well, it wasn't. I think it was just plainly called the Superdome there at the time. But I'm curious what you mean. They were really good teams in at times, and then there was times that they had some down years, some 8-8 years. So Satire Junk, I absolutely remember that 7-9. They lost to the 7-9 Seahawks, and I thought that was garbage that the Seahawks were even in the playoffs, because this is the NFL. Any team can win. Any team can win any game. You could put a 2-win team in the playoffs, and they might get the best of somebody that day. And the playoffs is supposed to be a reward for excellence during the regular season, not just because of some kind of technicality, because you're just in a garbage division. You have to, I believe you have to have a winning record. You have to at least be, at that time it would have been 8-8. You have to at least be 500 in order to qualify, no matter if you win your division or not. I just think that's absurd. I think there should be certain alterations in the event that happens, and nobody from the NFC West should have been in the playoffs that year. I'm saying, you know what? All of y'all suck. All of you suck. Sorry. No, it's over. Nope. couldn't win more than 7 games, and I'm going to give you a playoff. No, I'm not going to. No. A home game, by the way, the Saints had to travel to Seattle. I mean, that is absurd. Let's see, better arguments would be the Ravens winning the Super Bowl after Ray Lewis announced he was returning. Same with Manning, but those were good teams anyway. Well, regarding Ray Lewis, the Ravens were already contenders. They were there. They were right there, okay? So they believed that they had a pretty good quarterback in Joe Flacco, and they had a lot of good key pieces. They had good pretty much everywhere. They in their defense, of course, was solid. 2011, they felt that was their time, and they felt like they should have won that. And we all know the Billy Cundiff shank at the end where he missed the field goal and the Patriots win. That was a rough game, and the Patriots did not play well. Tom Brady, that's probably one of his worst games I've ever seen him play, and yet they got out of there alive. That left a bad taste in Ray Lewis's mouth, and he felt that they were right there, and they were a very, very good team, okay? So that was a decision, kind of like when Elway decided to come back for one more year. He knew he had a good thing. He knew there was something special there. Let's come back one more year. And Ray didn't want to end it like that, and he, they were like, let's, we're so close. Let's just try to win this one. And this happens a lot. I can also give you, for every one story, like Ray Lewis, winning in his retirement year, or Jerome Bettis, for example, I can give you hundreds and hundreds of players who didn't get that treatment. And so we just look at those things that happen. You have to remember it. Every team is bound to have a superstar or a famous guy who could be retiring that year and win a Super Bowl. And he might be on a Super Bowl winning team either because, in the case of Ray Lewis, it's because he was already on the Ravens and he had already won a Super Bowl anyway. But other times it could be that they join that team in order to ring chase. So, and the thing about Jerome Bettis, too much is made of that. Jerome Bettis is let's not talk about him like he's Barry Sanders, okay? It's not like it was Barry Sanders getting a ring or something like that. Bettis, he was pretty good. I thought he was overhyped, a bit overrated. But people use that one and they talk about Jerome Bettis and all that. But yeah, whatever, But again, back to the Ray Lewis thing. The Ravens were there. They were right there, okay? And that would have been a very interesting Super Bowl in 2011, Ravens versus Giants. It would have been very interesting. That next year, of course, they played the Patriots in the AFC Championship game, kick the Patriots' ass. Remember, this is a Ravens team that beat the Patriots in 2009, completely blew them out. They kept knocking on the doorstep. They kept getting there. 2010, they were there again. They were in the AFC Championship game. So let's see. 2009, they beat the Patriots. 2010, they go to the AFC Championship game and lose to the Steelers, who, of course, go on to lose to the Green Bay Packers. 2011, they're back in the AFC Championship game again, but they barely lose to the Patriots. We don't know what would have happened in overtime if their kicker hadn't shanked it, right? So 2012, they win the Super Bowl. Let's see. 2013, I can't remember what happened to the Ravens in 2013, to be quite honest with you. But 2014, they were right back there and damn near beat us in 2014. You guys remember that game? That was the divisional game where they got up 14-0, and then the Patriots tied it at 14-14. Ravens went up 28-14. Okay, and then the Patriots had to come back again, tie it 28-28, and that game finally ended with a touchdown at the end. But yeah, that's the Ravens had a consistent time frame where they were good. This wasn't some one-off. It wasn't like the Ravens suck and then, let's get Ray Lewis to Super Bowl and then everything's over, The Ravens have always been this kind of team that even Ravens are weird. Like I've always said, even when they're bad, like their record's bad, they're good. Like they're weird. I remember 2007, they weren't that good. I mean, they weren't that impressive as far as the record stuff. They damn near beat the undefeated Patriots. That was, I think that was the hardest game for the 07 Patriots was against Baltimore. So this isn't some team that isn't capable of doing these things. So yeah, Ray Lewis, a lot of his decision to come back was because he felt he had a Super Bowl team and he had every right to feel that way. They were very good. So that's just more of decision making right there, to be quite honest with you. And they almost lost to the 49ers, by the way. They blew a lead in the second half, after the lights went out. But God only knows what happened with that. So it's pathetic, I agree. But that would happen. So okay, let me catch up here. Yep, Brady versus Breeze twice a year, and yeah, they ended up with Dante Culpepper instead. You want to talk about Kevin 40, Super Bowl 40, terrible officiated game. Steelers versus Seahawks, awful, absolutely awful. I mean, it was shocking how bad that was, how bad the reffing was. So. Yeah, when the Ravens played the 49ers in Super Bowl 47, but I'm not understanding what you meant with the Saints. How is that connected to the Saints? Sorry, Jalen. It is absurd. If you win your division and you have a losing record, that is absolutely pathetic. No way. No way. And in the Mike says Tampa will most likely have a worse record than a wild card team. And in the event that happens, they shouldn't get the 4 seed. It should just, if as long, in my opinion, if I was running things, I would have the Bucks to have to, after the first 4 divisions have been seeded or the first 4 seeds have been done, everything else is based on record unless somebody else has a better record than you in another division. So let's say that the NFC East is producing 2 people with good records. Well, let's say the Eagles win the NFC East and the Dallas Cowboys get second in their division, but yet they have a better record than the Bucks. Then it should just, the Bucks get a playoff spot, but not necessarily a home game in the 4th seed. So that's where those things, I would change those a bit. So again, the playoffs is about excellence during the season. That's the whole point. It's not about who could beat who. Oh, if you put a bad team in there. That's not what it is about. The playoff spot is a reward. It's a reward for excellence. That's the whole point of it, the whole idea. So relying on your division to be garbage, come on, that what is that? So yeah, Alpha Courage, Super Bowl 51. We're never going to see something like that again, probably. That was so crazy. Okay, guys. I guess I'm going to go ahead and get off here. This was fun talking about this. I like talking about stuff like this. It's interesting, but yeah. When it comes to conveniences and things like, oh, that's convenient that they happen to win that year, or whatever. You have to pin it down and make sure. The first thing I like to do is look at, is there any other explanation? And if you strip it down and you start looking and you're like, something's wrong here, And that's what kind of got me looking at last year with the Rams. I was very suspicious of them because something wasn't quite right. And no matter how hard I tried to explain it away or something like that, it was just kind of hard to find something. But most of these that I've heard, most of the ones that people bring up there's nothing there. It's just nothing really. So. No, not relying on the division to be garbage, relying on everybody else to be worse than you when you ain't got a winning record. So that's a different thing. If you got a good record, you can't do nothing about what your division rivals are doing. You've got a good record, and that's all that matters. But we're talking in a case of you are 7-9, and you're hoping that the other people in your division are worse than you, and that's bad. That's just no. So it's never going to change. It's not going to change because I said it will, or I said it should. But that isn't how I feel it should be. It should be a reward. So no 7-9 team should even have the opportunity to wreck a team that is, for example, 11-6 at that, or 11-5 at that time. I think the Saints were 11-5 when they lost. So something like that. They had a winning record at least. So yeah. Okay. And at the very, if you want to compromise even further, at least the Saints game should have been in New Orleans. So. Bucks will end 12-5. Oh, I hope so, Jalen. I hope so. If they can go on a run, just like, just don't drop a game from the rest of the season. That would be fun. No. Yes, Luke. Yes. So what Luke is talking about, guys, is the Bucks had to go to the Washington Redskins in 2020 to play a playoff game in Washington because they won that crappy division. So again, if you want to keep the divisions to where if you win your division, you get a playoff spot, but it shouldn't guarantee a home game. The Redskins should have gone to the Bucks. So if you want to give it to a division winner, no matter what, if that's what you want, at least just say, okay, well, they get a playoff spot, but the home game is not guaranteed to you. So that should have been in Tampa for that one in 2020. But whatever. But Jalen, yeah, if for Tom to run the table like that, they're going to have. Hopefully, they made some changes over the bye week. They need to cut the situation between him and Byron Moore, and Tom really needs to just kind of take over. So it's just, if that doesn't happen, then it's not going to be a good ending. So. That'd be awesome, Jimmy G versus Brady, Mike. That'd be awesome, yeah. In the championship game. So, And that's going to happen soon in the next few weeks in the regular season. So, all right, guys, thank you so much. I'm going to get off here. Really appreciate y'all. Have a good football day tomorrow. Watch, see if your quarterbacks win or not. And then, like I said, as soon as this is over, it'll take me a few minutes to compile a list of everybody, but I'll post that for you guys so you have it and you can keep an eye on it during the games tomorrow. Okay? Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. And let's go.
Hi, this is tennis player Mariana Dragic, and you're watching Von Allen Sports, real and honest sports analysis. Subscribe now and join the empire. Von Allen Sports, let's go!
Von Allen Sports.